Alright, so the next option is Google Drive. And in Google Drive, to get there again, you click here and you find the drive icon. Mine is here. So I click the drive icon and this is my drive. So you already see I have folders and other things, but we're going to talk about team organization of Drive and some other features that you can do. So the first thing, we're going to come over here and talk about these features here. So here is where you can change the view. So if I click grid view, it changes it to this or list view. Those are the only two views you have. The next is your details, and so if you want to view some details about the latest things that have went on, it gives you some latest information. And then you click details and you can click a file or a folder to look at more details. So that's what that's used for. The next is the question mark, and that's administrator help. So if there's something that you don't understand, you click there and it gives you some information about what you can do. So if you ever forget how to do something, you can actually get some help, but that's only for admins. It's not for general users. And then settings. So we can actually download Drive file stream for Mac, which allows for directly using your Mac or your PC for Google Drive, but that's going away. It's going to be backup and sync is what it will be called. But anyways, we'll go into the settings and talk about what you can do there. Alright, so in your general settings, you can actually convert uploaded files to Google Docs automatically. I wouldn't suggest that. I would do that by play just for an issue with like a Word document becoming a good Google document if there is some kind of issue there. Alright, so I'll scroll down. We can talk about density here, and there's 3 tabs that you can do: comfortable, cozy, or compact. It's just how much spacing is available, and I like compact. The suggestions: make relevant files handy when you need them in the quick access, so that's going to give you like a view of them at the very top. I don't really like to use that, so I don't use it. Then you can have a Google Photos folder that will allow for any photos that you upload into Google Photos to go automatically into your Drive if you want to. Alright, so we can actually do an offline. So I've already enabled this through another user account, but if that's enabled, you'll be able to make edits offline, and then when you come online, all the edits that you make will be updated. So that's a good thing to do, is have offline mode enabled. That way you can do any editing offline, and then as soon as you come online, you can make those edits. Alright, then in notifications, I have a Slack account, so that's why that's here. If you don't have a Slack account, that won't show up. So I can actually say get updates from my browser, and then this populates, and I'll click allow. So anytime a new shared item or request for access, comments, or anything happens in my browser, there'll be a spot right in this area that populates saying, hey, someone shared an item with you, or someone's requesting access from a file that you have, or someone just made a comment or a suggestion, and I can decheck those if there's certain ones I don't want. So if I only want to be notified of requests for access, I can do that. Then Slack, and then email, get all updates via email. Now I'd keep this one checked just so that you can get a notification if someone wants access or someone made a comment. Alright, and these are some apps that can be connected to the Drive, and some of the ones like, obviously Google Slides and Google Sites and Google Sheets. But if there's other apps that you like I use Lumen PDF, so I can actually say, put a check there, and then I can actually talk about some options that you can do here. I can view the product page, or I can disconnect from Drive, which just takes it off of the Drive view. Let's see, if you do the same thing with Google Forms, you can view the product page. That's really about it. I'm sure other options are coming, but that's all you can do at the moment. Alright, so those are those settings over here. Now we'll come over here. So when I click down on my Drive, there's some things that I can do. I can create a new folder. I can upload files. I can upload a folder. If I have a folder from my desktop that I want to upload, I can create a new document, a new sheet, a new slide, or I can click more, and there are all these other things that I can do. So these will, if I click that, it's going to just put it right here, and you'll see I have some files that are just kind of miscellaneously put here, and so if I do anything like that right now, it's just going to throw it right here on the Drive. If I navigate somewhere, and then I do that same down arrow, I can make a new folder now. And so it changes a little bit from the settings that you can do. I can share this exact folder. I can create a shareable link. I can move this folder somewhere. I can add a star just to star it. I can change the color. I can make it red if I wanted to or something like that, and I'll show you how that looks different in a minute. I can rename it here. I can download this entire folder as a zip file, or I can just remove it completely. So if I go back to my drive, you'll see now that that color has changed. There's other ways to do that. If I right click, I can change color, and then I can make it green or something like that. I can do all kinds of different things with it. So it's just depending on what you want to do. So it just depends on the settings that you want to make there. Alright, so when I click on this, again, if I wanted a file, like I have some down here, if I wanted a file to go in here, I can click New, and I can click the type of file that I want to go in here. Or I click More and pick another type of file from the ones that are here. And so if I wanted a new website to go here, I would click New Website. If I want a new document to come here, I'd do that. And then I'd make my edits. And we'll talk about documents and all those other types of things later. So you can also have the option for your computer to be backed up. And my laptop, which is this one, is being backed up. So anything that's on my desktop is actually coming here now. And so every time there's something added to the desktop, it's automatically coming here. And if I delete it, it goes off the desktop. So that's what's happening with the computers. If I want to look at things that were shared with me, I can click here, and this is where I can find the shared with me stuff. So anything that's ever been shared with me, I can find it in the shared with me. And if I want to add that to my drive, let's say it's something that, it's been shared with me, but I actually want this to go in my drive so that I can find it easily. I can right click on it. And then a thing that I would do is I would just make a copy. That's how I would do. Now you can just go ahead and move it to your drive, but the problem with that would be that if the original owner deletes it, it's going to be gone out of your drive. So if you make a copy of it and then throw it in your drive, you'll have your own copy of that. Now if it's something that if you and another person are working on, then you want to do the move to and move it to your drive. And then you can just click here and you can move it to specific locations in your drive, and then click move here if I want it in the Aspire folder here. So I would move it to your drive if it's going to be something that you and another person are going to edit among each other, but if it's something that you just need a copy of, I would right click, I would make a copy, and then it automatically throws it into my drive. So right here, if I scroll down, you'll see copy of that same exact file. So edits that are made on that other file, I won't get notified of, but this is mine now, and I can make any edits I want. So I'm going to delete that off. So right click and remove. And you can also just hit the delete key if you want to remove it. Alright, then recent. Recent is just whatever the most recent files that you've uploaded or edited. So it's either way, uploaded or edited are going to be the most recent. And now we'll talk about search. So you can actually search types of documents. So maybe I want to search for text document, and then I want to search specifically that. And so now I want to find only documents that have the name Blake in it. Or I can search World War II. If I do that, I'm going to find just that paper. So that's how you can narrow your search down, is by doing document type. And I would suggest doing it that way every time. You can do more search tools, and this is where you can get really specific. So I want to search PDFs, anyone, or maybe it's just owned by me, anywhere. No, I want to search just my files. I want to search in the trash if it's something that I accidentally deleted. Date modified, I can do anytime, or I can say in the last 90 days because I know it's a file that I've used. And this is how you can actually find some things. So then you can narrow your search down so that you can actually find the things that are missing. Okay. Click X, and then go back to my drive. All right. Another thing, if you're moving things around in your drive, let's say well, there's nothing in there. Let's go here. So I have some things here. So I actually want to drag this, and I want to put it somewhere else. If I hover over, I can actually open the folders up. So if I hover over for a time period, it will just keep opening folders up, and I can go to certain folders if I want to drop it there. So if you want to move files, that's the best way to move the files. And that's pretty much everything with Google Drive. Well, in your starred, like say you starred things, I don't generally star anything, but if you do star things, it'll put them in this. So if there's very important files that you want to come back and look at later, it's a good thing to star them, but don't get too happy with that because then you'll have just too many files to look at. So the starred is just for that, but searching is just as easy to find things that you want to find. So the starred is cool, but it's not necessary. The trash, this is where you can restore files. So let's say I accidentally did delete that. I can just right click and I can click restore. If I want it to go away forever, I can say delete forever, and now it's gone forever. So that's how you can actually get rid of files completely, just in case. And then there's the Google Photos. I won't get too much into that. That's it's kind of a separate option, but it's just if you have that installed on a device, you can upload your Google Photos to that. A couple other things that you can do while you're in the Drive is clicking here. You can actually organize it by name. You can look at your owner. You can look at the modified by me or last opened by me, so you can say last modified by me, put that on top. Then you can go back to the name. It just depends on what you want to do. The file size and the owner you can't manipulate. That's just letting you know. Something else that you can do is when you're actually looking at some things, you can actually open them up with different things. So I can actually open with, and then I can open with different things. And then I can actually share. So when I do click share, there's some different ways to share it. So anyone on the internet can find and view. I can click the down arrow, I can click more, and I can actually change the settings. So anyone with the link, anyone at just Okefenokee Risa, so my specific domain, anyone there with the link, or just specific people. So if you want something that only specific people can open, you can click there, and when you do that, you'd have to specifically share that with them through their email address, so that they could have access. On public on the web, you can actually change this to can edit, can comment, can view. So that means anyone that ever finds this can edit it. Anyone that ever finds this can comment. Anyone that ever finds this can view. And you can do that pretty much with each one. Change those settings on each one. Now, when you do specific people, you'll be able to do something different. So here you can actually start typing a name. So if you want a very specific person to have access, I can just keep adding people, and I can add a note here about what it's about. Then I can click this, and I can actually change their rights so they can edit, can comment, can view. If I click advanced, I can look at the people that I've already shared it with. So maybe this person here, I don't want them to view it anymore. I want them to be able to edit. Or I can actually set an expiration date for them to be able to view it. So I can actually say, your access expires in 30 days, or I can set a custom date for them to no longer see this. Or if I just want them to completely be rid of it, I can click the X, and now they can no longer view it. And then if I'm done, I can click Save Changes. I can also do some advanced things here. Prevent editors from changing access and adding new people. Disable options to download, print. So I can actually disable this download, print, and copy for the commenters and viewers. So that will keep them from making copies of this or doing things with it that maybe I don't want them to. So that's a pretty good thing to enable there. Alright, so I click cancel because I don't want to make any real changes. I can actually send a copy of this to myself so that I get notified that, hey, she really did get this email. And I can choose to whether notify them or not. Click cancel. Done. One last thing, maybe you just want to get a shareable link. When you do click that, you can toggle this on and off. And then this right here is the link that you want to send to whoever you want to share this with. And then you can click on the sharing settings again and say, okay, wait a minute. Not everybody that's going to look at this is at this Risa. So I want this public on the web, or anyone with the link, either way, and they can view. And then I can just click this copy link button here, and then I can paste that into an email.